Yeah, and don't be bashful with this. You don't have to put an exact figure to it, but dollars and cents. How is your business doing today? Can you kind of summarize that?
So today, so I'll put it into this perspective. In 2020, that was one of my best years. 2020, if you remember, that was when COVID hit. Okay, my business actually thrived. Um, I was still active duty. With the money that I made that year, I doubled my military income.
Wow, that's pretty friggin' that's really good. So with that, I know that it's always not a rose garden, right? As we know,
Yeah.
own your own business, a lot of responsibility, and I know that it's not a triumph every time that you put one foot in front of the other. So can you share a little bit about some of your struggles with owning your own business, please?
Sure. Everybody thinks when it comes to moving, you just got to be strong and move furniture from here to there. Well, the first thing is recruiting talent, is finding movers that align with the values of your company. That could be challenging. Um, the people that want to work may not have the necessary skills, may not have transportation or whatever, but if they want to be there, you have to teach them how to move. They have to get used to it. It's a physical job. And then I would say the second thing is, yeah, you can have a team, but if you don't have no customers, so advertising is a huge part of what I do. Between putting Fidelis movers out there, also letting the people, between the reviews, between making sure that the customers are satisfied, making sure that the team is satisfied, making sure that the picture that's being portrayed with Fidelis movers is different than the rest of the other moving companies out there. And I think so far we've been pretty successful at that.
So you're grinding your butt off doing it. I know you are, man, because I know you.
Yeah.
And I know, what you're doing. Is it worth it? Right. So like in the Marine Corps, even though, grinding,
Yeah.
working all those long hour stuff, I always felt like it was worth it because I could find, the passion and the purpose in it.
Yes.
Can you say the same thing about running your own business?
Absolutely. There is a learning curve in the beginning. There was a learning curve when it came to the moving. But I took everything that I learned in the military, organization, leadership, and then sales. I have a decent sales background, and I was able to become successful with it. But at the end of the day, it was all worth it. It's worth it when the customers are just like, wow, you didn't break any of our stuff. Or wow, you guys move fast. Or a lot of times when the customers are being really nice and they tip the movers, a little bit more than normal. And it's like, wow, I'm happy to be a part of Fidelis Movers. So that's what makes it all worth it. So
yeah, no doubt. And just for quick context, like the size of your team and stuff, your employee, can just give a little breakdown about kind of the construction of your moving company.
So right now, I have a team of, I call them my solid foundation. Like I have 4 movers, but I have about 10 movers that I can select to go on jobs at any given time. But usually I have the same 3 to 4 guys that go on a moving job. So
perfect. So brother, you've done obviously a lot of things in your life between being a Marine, and having dabbling in business and entrepreneurship for a while. And you've had a lot of success. So some young folk who perhaps are out here looking at this, they're like, wow, I'm really inspired by this guy, Tim Brown, and his hustle and his grind that he's putting on out there. What advice could you give them on how to achieve success over the long term?
I guess, man, I can have a podcast just on this, but I would say the advice is, you got to persevere when things get hard. You got to have a strong work ethic. If you're lazy, it's not going to work. And I would say the last thing is you got to have a strong why. If your why and your purpose is not strong, you're not going to be successful. If you're doing this to feed your family, then the why is going to be strong. If you're doing this just because you just want to make a couple quick bucks, you can do anything else to make a couple bucks, so the why has to be strong.
Yeah, no doubt. That's good stuff, man. That the insight that you provided, is, I think, going to be perhaps very beneficial to somebody out there, and that's what part of the reason and why we do this is just an effort to help others, and help them, get some things rolling around their head, to maybe something comes to action and they can take some risks out there and, and better themselves and better their life. So absolutely. I appreciate you sharing, your wisdom.
No, thank you.
When you came in, you said you wanted to perhaps ask me a question of something.
Oh yeah, I do have a question. So, so my question is, Mark. I met you when you was a fireball gunny on the drill field, and I've seen you, rise through the ranks. It wasn't a surprise, and I see you make it to SAR major, and I remember you made it to RTR SAR major, and I was like, man, they got the right dude for the job. How come you didn't take it further? Because I feel that you would have gotten it. So I mean, how come you didn't go 30? How come you didn't make it to the MSc level? So how come you didn't do that?
Yeah. So that advice that everybody always gives you, you'll know when it's time to go when you're not having fun anymore.
Yeah.
That was not the case. I was having fun the very last day that I was in uniform. It's just and not to sound like I'm tooting my own horn. I got the best fitness reports back to back that I ever got in my career.
Yeah.
I was doing really well. I feel like I had a golden ticket, to feed into a really good billet afterwards. But then just, man, like when we moved from Virginia out to San Diego, I could just see the weight on my wife's shoulders, right? My son left the best middle school, up here in Prince William County. And I felt bad. And just as we were there in Poway, we were making the best of it. But every time, I'd come home late, it would just be, I could just see that she was starting to get tired. And, man, it's going to sound screwed up, Tim, but it's the truth.
No.
For the first time at that 26 and a half year mark, I chose them first. I chose them over the Marine Corps. And I wish there was more to it, that I had some gossip and some drama behind it. I don't. I mean, yeah, it's the higher up you get, the less say you have in where you go. So sure, I was a little bit concerned. We could have went to MAR for a career, et cetera. So I just figured I'd just make the decision for myself and make that decision for my family. I thought it was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do. Not to be long-winded about it, but if I didn't know what I know now, I probably would have retired at like 25 years.
Exactly.
I mean, seriously, I had no idea. Like the quality of life that you get as a retiree, it's amazing. So that's my reason why. And I know my wife's happy about it. My son's happy about it. I'm happy about it. And it's all just really good, that's good, great, man, for us. Yeah. As we say in the Marine Corps, any saved rounds? Yes,
I do. I have one saved round. So for those that are transitioning out, whether or not you serve 4 years or you serve 30 years, your last 18 months, year, 2 years, whatever, take care of yourself. Okay. Take care of yourself. I promise you, the Marine Corps is going to be absolutely fine without you being there. It's happened for a very long time. So make sure you take care of yourself, because nobody's going to take care of you better than yourself. So just make sure you take that extra time to prepare yourself as you transition out.
No, well said, Tim. And I back up that statement. And I tell you, man, I'm still friends with a lot of guys that are on active duty, and the amount of officers, chief warrant officers, and senior enlisted guys that don't do that still astonishes me. So I hope that, that message will spread a little bit more, because, it only gets harder once you everything gets harder when you take the uniform off.
Yep.
TRICARE is harder. The VA is harder. Filing a claim's harder. Yep. Proving a claim's harder. Getting access to doctors. It's all harder when you take it off. Am I right?
Yep. You're right.
Guys, please, I compel to you to do what Tim said to do. And yep, he's absolutely right about that. All right, Tim, brother, it's been real. Thank you so much. It's like, I feel like it's Charlie Company all over again with our campaign hats on and like running around, doing recruit stuff, and us picking on you for being unorganized and Fidelis Brown, all that stuff. Right. But brother, thank you, man.
Hey,
I appreciate you. I love you, man.
I love you too, man.
All right, everybody, we're going to shut it down here for the night. I appreciate you tuning in. Remember, it's the Left, Right, Left podcast. We keep moving forward, not just with our feet, moving forward with our mind. We'll always honor the past, but we'll never dwell on it. I hope each one of you has a fantastic evening and much success to you in life. Love you. Bye.